Parkside Ave, and this is Mark from Hog Island Press, and today we're going around, we're going to be looking at some of the baseball sites of Philadelphia. This is where we're going to be starting, is the Philadelphia Stars, the Negro League Memorial Park. And in this little park here, and across the street, there's a mural we're going to be looking at. This is dedicated to the 85 years of African Americans who played baseball. Did I say that? I don't know if that sentence sounded right, but that's all right. I don't talk good. Here he is, player from the Philly Stars. Mark, tell me a fun fact that you know about this place.
Well, I think one of the more interesting things that this park pays respects to is the memory of what was likely the first African-American baseball team in the city, the Pythians, who were organized, managed by a fellow that I think, John, you might know, Octavius Cotto. If you go to Philadelphia City Hall, there's a big statue of Octavius Cotto. Octavius Cotto was a great man who fought for freedoms of African American men all throughout this nation. He also told African American guys, like, hey, if you're going to fight sides in this Civil War, you should fight with the North, because, you know, if you fight with the other guys, the outcome's not that good for us. And he was also murdered because he was trying to get people to vote. Sorry. On election day, I think.
On election day.
On South.
So he was a baseball manager, baseball player.
Ran the Pythians, also played second base for them.
Yeah.
And so this park here pays respects to several of the teams, including his, the Pythians.
The Pythians. Now, pretty horrible name.
Kind of is.
Yeah, but Pythons would have been better.
It doesn't jump as much as the Stars, the Philadelphia Stars.
No, and in the 80s, I remember there being a football team called the Philadelphia Stars. Remember the AFL or whatever it was called?
Yes, yeah. USFL.
USFL. And over here, these are all the teams that played.
Unrelated.
Right. All the teams from 1920 to 1950. Philadelphia Stars. The Philadelphia Stars would play at the old Connie Mack Stadium on Mondays, and there were years they would only play at Connie Mack Stadium on one day a week, and they would outdraw the Phillies at Connie Mack Stadium because the Phillies stunk.
But for about 20 years, they played across the street here, and they entertained some of the greatest ball players America has ever seen. Josh Gibson would play.
Josh Gibson. Now here's my question. If they played across the street, why isn't this stuff across the street? Because it's just a park. Okay. So now we're at 44th and Parkside, right across the street from the statue. And this is a little mural dedicated to the Philadelphia Stars.
It's a pennant representing their rivals in the league at the time.
The Bacons. That's a good name. The Buckeyes. I like that the Yankees were called the New York Black Yankees. Very on brand. I wonder if this mural actually went on this wall. I bet you it did. And that's the thing, this wall's stucco. So they had like a little stucco problem, and half the part of the mural's missing. Oh, whoa! No, I just thought it was bad asphalt, because I almost tripped walking around here 4 times. Look at that. Oh, you know what that means? Philadelphia owns the Star, not Dallas. That's our logo. This is our logo. You thick kids can't even get your own logo. Oh my God, that's great. We own the Star.
Another fun fact: the man that Dallas, Texas is named after,
George Mifflin Dallas, is buried in Philadelphia at 4th and Pine. And every time I walk past his grave, I say Dallas sucks.
Got it all.
So, right now, what we're doing is we're walking across the field of what used to be called Jefferson Park. Is that what it's called?
Jefferson Street Ballparks.
Jefferson Street Ballpark. The very first National League game was played not on this field, but on the ground of this field. And
1876.
the very first interracial baseball game ever between white guys and black guys.
The Pythians.
The Pythians versus the Athletics.
The Olympics.
The Olympics, who are the oldest baseball team in Philadelphia.
Correct.
And I don't know the final score, but that happened in 1870.
1869.
I just wanted him to say 69. But so on this field, National League game, the first interracial game, Octavius Cotto, who we talked about earlier, played a game on this field
against a white team.
And he was also murdered on South Street. And I don't know, like we were looking at this building here in the back, and it has Flemish bond, and it makes me think that it could be from time of the stadium, but I don't think it is. But if you know, if that's where if that's part of Jefferson Stadium, Jefferson Street Stadium, is there a Jefferson Street even here? Oh, it is right here, Jefferson Street. Okay, yeah, looks like a field in Fishtown. Hetzel's, I think it's called.
This venue's claim to fame is that it ushered the sport from an amateur pastime into the professional era.
The first professional game happened on this field, too. Arthur Reach, who is one of the original owners of the Phillies.
First paid player in the sport of baseball.
I think he got paid $500 for some type of advertising.
And a bucket of hay for his horse.
That's probably what, a bucket of hay back in 1879. It's like $1 million. But right here, not here, but sort of here, somewhere, was the home plate of the first baseball game. I wonder where the American League played for the first time.
Save that for next video.
Yeah, you know what? And the Oakland A's. Oh, no, the Olympics played here, not the A's.
Well, no, the Philadelphia A's played their first game here.
The Philadelphia A's
which then became the Kansas City A's, which then became the Oakland A's, which might become something else someday.
They're not. They're gonna play in Oakland next year. I promise you that.
Where it all started.
Right here.
Right here.
So history. I didn't. You know what's sad is I did not know about this till about 3 minutes ago. So we were looking for recreation field. This is where we're going to go to next. This is actually the Phillies' very first stadium, and we were looking for Columbia Ave. But Columbia Ave doesn't exist anymore. It's called Cecil. It's called Cecil B. Moore Ave. And right here, this is where the Phillies' very first stadium was at. Right here on this intersection at 24th at Cecil B. Moore. Third base to Recreation Park was somewhere around here.
Who played third base for the Phillies in 1875?
Mike Schmidt, the greatest third baseman of all time. Look at this. And there's no historical marker. There's no anything talking about the Phillies' first stadium being here. This is crazy.
Yeah. Predates the Baker Bowl. So this is where the Phillies actually played professional baseball.
For the first time. The first time Dan Baker said, "And ladies and gentlemen, your 1864 Philadelphia Phillies." And they ran on the field right here.
Right here.
That's it. They didn't win anything. They didn't win the World Series till 1980, so you don't have to really pay attention to the...
Now, do you ever go to places that don't have a historical marker?
All the time.
Say, this place should have
yes.
one?
Can
we get
ECW Arena should have a historical marker. This should definitely have a historical marker. There are places that have historical markers that don't need a historical marker. But it's a lot of work to get a historical marker. You got to write a 10,000-word essay. It's a whole thing.
Do you think winning another World Series would get a historical marker for here? We could try.
I'll tell you what, this video will do more than anything ever has to get a historical marker. If somebody sees this and wants to do it, let me know. I'll share the message. I ain't helping you write an essay. I'll tell you that.
The birthplace of your Philadelphia Phillies.
The Philly Fanatic. The Philly Fanatic's mom, Phoebe Fanatic, gangbanged right here. That's why we don't talk about who the Fanatic's father is. He was made in a gangbang. All right, here we are. Lehigh Avenue. And this is a church. But this used to be Connie Mack Stadium. This was the stadium the Phillies played at before they went to Veterans Stadium. And after Veterans Stadium, they went to Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies played here. Also, the Philadelphia A's played here. Also, the Philadelphia Stars played here. My dad went to the very last game at Connie Mack Stadium, and he stole a chair that remained in my grandmom's basement until I think we threw it out. What happened to the Connie Mack chair? You come here. Unlike the other ballparks we visited today, unlike the first Phillies stadium, this one has a historical marker. Ambulance. Pause. You see the houses over there. People would put bleachers on the roof and they would watch the game. This would be the right field fence, Mark says. He fixed. Don't be writing book reports. Also, 3 Negro League World Series were played here. The Philadelphia A's, did you know, this is a fun Philadelphia fact, the Philadelphia A's have more championships than the Phillies and the Flyers combined? I think they have 5, or they have the same amount of numbers.
5 were won here.
What's
5
that?
World Series were won by the A's while they played.
Yeah, 5 World Series won by the Philadelphia Athletics. Then they went to Oakland and they won
Kansas
even
City,
more.
And then Oakland.
Yeah, and then they're moving somewhere else. But it's on the sign here tells you that. It opened in 1909. Became the home of the Athletics till 1954. Negro League World Series, 3 of them played here. 5-time the World Series A's played here.
Fun fact, 1941, Ted Williams, on the final day of the regular season, went 6 for 8 and became the last and probably the final player to hit 400 in the major leagues. 406 in 1941. Happened right here.
He went 6 for 8 on the day of the doubleheader.
Final day of
John Kruk, on his last game, he was playing for the White Sox, and he was playing for one more hit so he could retire with a 300 batting average.
I heard this.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, here we are at beautiful, quiet Broad Street. We're right at Broad and Lehigh, and this is the site of the Baker Bowl, right here. This is where the Phillies played before Connie Mack Stadium, after Recreation Park. They played here, the Baker Bowl, National League Park. The Phillies played here until 1938.
Across from a pretty interesting train station.
Wow, that's a
It's overlooked.
That's a beautiful train station. Yeah, it's probably now, it's the site of Volunteers of America. I don't think that clock's right.
It hasn't been right in a very long time.
Well, it is right at 6:30, but every other time it's wrong.
Twice.
Babe Ruth, his final baseball game here.
Not in this building.
Not in this building. It wasn't an indoor dome. It was, do they have any pictures of the ballpark? No. But I would imagine the ballpark was probably the size of this building. And Phillies didn't win the World Series here. The first time a president ever attended a baseball game or threw out an opening pitch, right here.
Babe Ruth was a rookie on the 1915 Red Sox team that beat the Phillies here.
I got to bring that up.
That's a thing.
Oh, you know what? That started the curse of the Bambino then, right? Or the trading it soon after.
Lots of curses here.
Yeah.
But they left. Next time.
And they moved about 6 blocks the other way to Connie Mack. And then what they did is they hopped on the Orange Line, the subway underneath here, and now they play in South Philly, which is 6 miles from here.
Can I tell you my favorite fact about this place?
Sure.
1923, a 12-year-old boy catches a foul ball, refuses to give it up, gets sent to jail for the night. The next morning, the judge throws it out, says that it's a natural impulse for a fan to want to keep a foul ball, and thus becomes the first time that a foul ball becomes a souvenir at a Major League Baseball game.
That is a super fun fact. Phillies fans are such jerk-offs. We get to keep foul balls. I love it.
They locked up a 12-year-old.
Yeah, keeping up with tradition. Fans have been getting locked up for decades. And we had to go to the warehouse to pick up the second batch of the Respect the Mascot t-shirt. You can order a Respect the Mascot t-shirt. There's a link at the bottom of every video. And you can follow Mark on Instagram. He's been taking pictures of our adventures today.
Hog Island Press.
Hog Island Press.
And HogIslandPress.com.
You know, people are calling for a Todd Stinks t-shirt.
Okay.
I don't know if you're reading in the comments. A lot of people, they have an opinion about Todd, and his opinion is he stinks. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. A Philadelphia landmark, the Boner Forever building. Forever Boner building. I'm sorry. I told you I was dyslexic. And I heard this building's getting knocked down.
So the Boner will remain.
No, it won't. It's going to be impotent.
But it's forever.
So this is the grave of Harry Wright, who, check this out. The father of baseball. And that's the man himself. He was the first manager of the Phillies?
The first manager of the Phillies.
Mark has notes. Isn't that adorable? I love it.
And the Quakers.
He was at the Quakers.
The Philadelphia Quakers and the Phillies.
And he has something in his hand. What is it? Oh, it's a hotel key. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see what it is. Oh, I can't read this. What's this? His life. What a horrible idea is to have this etched like this. Can you see that? He may be the father of baseball, but he owns a horrible grave. I mean, the statue's killer, but what's the purpose of this besides aggravation?
His life was gentle, and the elements.
Oh, you know what it is? He wants you to get into a catcher's stance to read his grave,
That's
right?
What it is.
Yeah, his life was anyway. Big guy. He was a cricket player, born over in London.
Born in England.
London and England's the same thing to me. I don't care. Yeah.
Moved here as a child. Played cricket, and at age 15, started playing baseball.
You know what that makes me think? It makes me think he wasn't a good cricket player, so he came up with his own sport. What do you think?
He was the first pitcher to change speeds.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're the first pitcher, of course, yeah.
He helped found the Phillies with his friend Alfred Reach.
Alfred Reach, who lived on Chestnut Street. I just took a tour of his apartment.
Baseball innovations are credited to Harry Wright.
Okay, what did he innovate?
Spring training.
Let's go. That's why I go on vacation in March.
The modern baseball uniform of knee-length pants and stockings.
Oh, Jim Thome wears his pants that way.
Doubleheaders.
Doubleheaders.
Pre-game batting practice. The double steal. And a defensive shift.
Oh, boo! I like a doubleheader, but the shift, okay.
In Cooperstown.
He's in Cooperstown with his brother.
The only pair of brothers in the Hall of Fame.
How about that? Fun facts galore at the cemetery.
George Wright.
Next grave, let me show you my grave. This is where they sprinkle the ashes at Laurel Hill Cemetery. And if you look down here, there's some ashes down there. This is where they dump the ashes. And when I die, some of my ashes will be here, and I will be buried right next to one of the greatest broadcasters in the history of mankind, not Philadelphia, the mankind. This is the grave of Harry Callis, who passed away in '09 in the Washington National. He had a heart attack in the Washington Nationals broadcast booth. Passed away in the hospital later that day. These are seats from Veterans Stadium. Headstone in the shape of a microphone. Has a nice saying here from Bart Giamatti. And fans come by here all the time. Sometimes you come by, there'll be a can of beer or a little bottle of Jim Beam. You got some bracelets. A softball. That seems odd. Baseball makes more sense. Softball, I feel like you're just emptying your trunk. And there it is, Harry Callis. And there's his autograph in the Hall of Fame, 2002. His broadcast partner was Richie Ashburn. That's whoever, Harry and Whitey, U.S. veteran. And that's it. I mean, what else is this? I hear you like to drink hooch. Right? Like to drink hooch. And if you take a tour of the United States Mint, Harry Callis is the narrator of that tour. Also, voice of NFL films. And Chunky Soup. That ball's out. Not really that good of an impression, but an impression nonetheless.
Both World Series.
What?
Called both World Series.
Did not.
Did not.
He did not call the 1980s World Series. Anytime you hear Harry doing a rebroadcast of the 80s World Series, that's after the fact happening. In 1980, it was just a national broadcast. And the outcry of Philadelphia fans was so bad after the 1980s World Series that the home team does the radio broadcast now. And that's because of Harry Callis.
Thank you for clarifying.
There you go. No problem. I like to sort out the fun facts. And in '08, he did call it. And then he threw out the pitch. And then there was not much after that pitch he threw. He wound up coming here. His funeral was at Citizens Bank Park. Yes, I did drag my children to it. So both my kids, their first funeral was Harry Callis's. The players from the Phillies wore uniforms to his funeral. Were you there? Did you go?
I did not go.
No, I thought you were a fan. I thought you were a fan of Harry Callis. When you come here, if you go up these steps, little American history. People. Right here is the grave of General Meade. Little U.S. history in this baseball video. He was the, well, I had to catch my breath after walking up those steps. General Meade was the general during the Battle of Gettysburg. He was buried with his horse. His horse name was Old Baldy. And when Old Baldy died, they buried him with General Meade. And then right after he died, they dug up the horse, chopped off its head, and now you can see it in some museum in Philadelphia. And for our final stop, we're here at Simon Gratz High School. It's really a nice looking building. And this is where the historical marker is for Roy Campanella, a record-breaking catcher with the Brooklyn Dodgers, 48-57. He began his career here. He dropped out of here, though. He didn't graduate here. He dropped out of here. And he played baseball for 10 seasons. In Brooklyn. And won the MVP 3 out of the 10 seasons. It's
incredible.
I don't know. That's a pretty good achievement. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Street, look at this. A little more Philadelphia Phillies history. The Shane Victorino, the Flying Hawaiian. That's the Boys and Girls Club of Nicetown. Uh-oh. About Roy Campanella, and tip a cap to him. We should also tip a cap to Mark for doing all the research today. Bravo, sir. I like it when people do the work I don't have to do.
That was fun, John.
It was fun. And you got to see a lot of stuff.
The captain and the island set sail together.
Is that what, are you calling yourself the island?
Still working through it.
Yeah, it's better than calling yourself a pig.
It is.
Yeah.
Good. Or hog.
Or hog, yeah. Hog Island was the first thing I ever marched in the string bands. I marched with Hog Island Comic Brigade.
This was meant to happen.
Yeah, it's a thing. So don't forget to check out his merch, or my merch, and his merch. He also makes the merch for Charlie Manuel, Larry Anderson, and himself.